Hello, everyone, everywhere. This is Bob Thibodeau with the Kingdom Crossroads podcast, and you are listening to Life Transformation Radio with my good friend Sean Douglas. Be sure to subscribe to his podcast so you will not miss any of the upcoming episodes, and be blessed in all that you do.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 70 countries, such as the United States, Sweden, Norway, Australia. So I want to thank you to those for those who are listening from around the world. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that has changed our lives and how we can use this to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. Now, you can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can also join our Facebook community, and so you can contact the guests and ask them questions and talk about the shows with great conversations inside of our Facebook group, Life Transformation Radio Community. I also ask that you subscribe to the podcast wherever you're comfortable listening to shows. We are on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, Castbox, the Google Play Music app. Wherever you're comfortable listening to shows, you can find us. On the show, I bring on entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing people who are impacting the world around them. And my guest today does just that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show, during our live show, you can call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number 657-383-1109. So with that, please help me welcome to the show my friend, Chip Helm. Hey, Chip, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Hey, Sean, how are you? I apologize for all the foul-ups of trying to get connected.
All good.
This afternoon.
No, Blog Talk Radio is one of those, it's one of those platforms that a lot of people aren't used to. And so for me, I love it because I get to do a live show. It's an absolute live show. People can call in. Spreaker and Blog Talk Radio own each other, or they merged or whatever. But I just love using it. But a lot of people are not used to it, so it does cause some issues. But here we are. So how you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing amazing. It's a great Friday. The sun is shining here in North Carolina. Friday the 15th. And so, I've been looking for this for quite some time, and I know you're going to drop some amazing wisdom on the listeners today. So if you're ready, let's do this.
Let's do it. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great, man. You're coming in loud and clear.
Great.
So
Great.
The title of the show is Everyday Sales Wisdom with Chip Helm. From a dental school dropout to a national sales manager of a multi-billion-dollar medical device company, Chip Helm has honed his skills from the ground up. With anecdotal examples from his successes and failures, Chip's stories will have you laughing while you learn. Chip knows how to develop and maintain long-term relationships to help drive sales success. If it is personal branding, practicing humility, or following up and following through, his practical advice is applicable to anyone at any stage in their career. His mentoring and leadership has helped thousands of students and colleagues over his last 3 decades in sales. Chip is a regular guest lecturer at business schools around Indiana, including Purdue, Ball State, Butler University, and Indiana University. Chip holds a BA in biology from Indiana University and an MBA from the University of South Florida. If you want to learn anything about Chip, you can go to his website, www.chiphelm, H-E-L-M, chiphelm.com. He's got amazing things on there, and you will learn a ton. So after reading that, I'm way more intrigued now, even though I already know you, because I cannot wait for people to hear the stories that you have. So the first question I want to start off with is, what is your why, or what has been your why? What is that deep, deep why that you have at the forefront of everything you do?
Well, it's interesting you say that. Let me go back a little bit and just tell you a quick story. About 10 years ago, I was sitting around the Christmas tree, and I was spending time with my 3 kids. My oldest is in medical school at Texas Tech. My daughter's in vet school at Purdue University, and my youngest one's playing football at Ball State, and he wants to go to dental school. So we were sitting around the Christmas tree, and, you know, I was sharing with them, and I said, all of a sudden I yelled out, I said, I think I can write a book. And I said, write a book? I said, well, I've been around a long time, and I think I've got some pearls of wisdom. I got some things I could share with people, and it's funny. So now I go 10 years later, and they were bugging me every year. Dad, where's your book? Where's your book? Where's your book? And every year. So finally I got them off my butt. And it just came down. I said, you know what? I'm going to put down all my thoughts, all things that interest me in the last 30 years and what I do, and I'm going to share it in a book. Well, I didn't realize that, 2 weeks before I was going to go into publication of the book, they called me up and they said, you bore 2 children. I said, bore 2 children? What are you talking about? Well, now you're going to have 2 books. So that's what it all came about. And really, I guess it goes back to one important lesson that I started out with. No matter what career you choose, again, no matter what career in life you choose, you are in sales. So I think that was the premise of everything. And then it dropped down into, the thing what I like to talk about mostly through both of my books is about humility. So that's where it began, Sean.
So when you say that you're in sales, I've heard it before from like Grant Cardone, like you're always closing, always be closing, right? And I'm like, I don't want to close people, but I understand it. But a lot of people are salesy, spammy, especially on social media. So when you say that you're always in sales, can you elaborate a little more on that by what you mean?
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, let's go back and say that there's never been a book published that I'm aware of that connected the word sales to humility. So that's one thing. So, when I talk about bigger than sales, nobody looks at a salesperson and says that they're very humble or they have much humility. I don't really like the word sales, to be honest with you, okay? I wish I didn't have to put that word into either title of these books, but I really had to because at least people could connect to the term. Now, when I mean sales, I mean life. I mean communicating with people from day to day and week to week and getting to know someone, because when I say sales, we're always communicating. We're always talking to people. We're either selling a widget out there or we're selling a concept or more importantly, we're selling ourselves. That's what separates us from everyone else in the country is yourself. So every day, what do you think I'm doing? I've got to convince my wife on things. I've got to convince her that I want to go on a trip or I want to go out with the boys. That's sales. That's what I mean by sales, John, is that I got to use the term sale, but we are always doing something every day to convince someone about an idea we have. Maybe we have something, maybe it is a widget. Maybe we're a marketer. That's why I laugh when people go, well, I'm in marketing. I'm in IT. I'm in human resource. I'm in supply chain. I'm not in sales. And I say, I beg to differ with you. Yes, you are in sales. Every day you're in sales because you've got to constantly convince someone or talk to someone or communicate with someone or develop a relationship at a point where, you're working together on something. So we all are in the same process, as I call it, of selling. I just don't like that word, sales. So
100%.
Does that make
100%.
a little bit of sense? I mean, I know I could go
absolutely,
lots of different directions with that, but that's, unfortunately I had to put the term sales in there, but that's why I've always believed it's much bigger than the term sales, what I'm talking about.
Right.
And really they're life lessons.
You know what I love is I believe it was Google.
Sorry about Sean. I get a little passionate.
No, I love it.
When I get going, so I apologize.
So do I. No, absolutely, man. So do I. I love where I was a little kid and he was trying to sell his parents on why he should buy something or why he was trying to. I remember what it was. He was trying to go on a trip or he was trying to buy something or he needs whatever, and he had used like the Google product, right? The Google product to like make the slideshow. And then the parents were like, oh, it's to get a puppy. He's like, I really want to get a puppy. And then, so they got him this dog and the dad's like, huh. And then he uses the same slideshow to like, I need new golf clubs. Like I need like that commercial always kills me every time. When I see things like that, I'm like, like that's sales, right? I mean, how many times have you heard the like, hey, sell me this pen, Chip? Like, can you sell me this pen? Like, have you guys deal with that stuff?
Yeah, but it's so much bigger than that. You're right, though. It's a very tough subject because when you say the word sales, everyone wants to throw up. Or they want to, gag on what you just said. And I guess my point of it is all of this is that, there's a progression here. You've got to understand how to network with people and build relationships, and you've got to, but the end result is something is going to happen in some way, shape, or form or fashion that you would have sold something to somebody, or you would have, I don't know if you use the word convince them, but all life is the same way. We're all doing it from day in and day out. You do it. Right. We all do it. We're always selling something behind our conversation or within our conversation.
I love it.
To be honest with you, I had to sell my kids. I had to convince my kids there was a means to an end. That's why you may not like anything you do in high school. You may not like any class that you take at all, and then you go into college. But if you want to go to medical school, or if you want to go to law school, or you want to go to vet school, you've got to do things. You've got to do things in order to get there. That's a means to an end, and that is part of the process of selling. It's selling yourself, understanding the concepts necessary to get to where you want to go. So we're talking the same thing. I mean, that's what we do every day.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely 100% right.
And by the way, Sean, I am walking around the room right now. I'm using both arms. Okay, because I'm visual. I talk with my hands, and you can see the expressions. If you could see my face right now, you could see me just going up and down and sideways, and that's what I do. When I get into something, I really feel this is really important. I'm right now using my right hand right now, and it's flapping in the air.
I love it. I love it. So there's a movie
at home or something. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a movie in the 90s with Vin Diesel and Ben Affleck, and I cannot remember the main character's name. I can see his face, but the movie's called Boiler Room. You ever seen Boiler Room? Have you seen Boiler Room? Yeah. So Boiler Room is so the main character. He's like, so Ben Affleck's talking to the main character, and he tells him the one thing. He's like, listen. He's like, somebody either sells you on why they're not going to do it, or you sell them on the why they should. There's a transaction that takes place in every single conversation. So either you sell them on the reasons why they need to, or they sell you on the reasons why they don't need to. Either way, a transaction is taking place.
How do you think my wife gets me to go to the grocery store? Somehow, some way, she's got to do some pretty good convincing.
Right. Oh yeah. I'm like, what? Hey, honey, I really want to go golfing, like, today at, like, 4 o'clock. Like, I really want to go, And then she either says yes or, well, no, because we have this one thing. And then I got to try to convince her, well, I can do that one thing still. And I can, like, it's no problem. And yeah, 100%, man. So where did this all come? Like, tell us about that one transformational moment, because that's what the show's about. The show is about our transformation. So tell the listeners and speak to them about a transformation or some transformation that has happened in your life that made you who you are today and put you on the path to being that, not the salesy, spammy guy, but the guy who knows the ins and outs of sales.
It's all about relationships. It's all about people. I don't know what it was. Maybe God came down and gave me a gift. I had a gift, Sean, that if I'm on a phone in a hospital per se, and I'm trying to locate someone, for some ungodly reason, the person came right around the corner. Or I could be at the most unique place somewhere and run right into the person. Or I could meet someone in the first 30 seconds, put my hand out, and have a connection. It's just, I always have been that kind of sincere, genuinely type of person, and so I would have been fortunate. I do a lot of things not very well, but one of the things I do very well is connect to people, and you've got to understand it's all about the other person. It's all about them. And so driving that relationship skill, and when I say relationship skill, I mean there's an art of networking. There's an art of building a relationship. What does that look like on a piece of paper? I taught, so there's all these facets. How do you communicate? There's good communication. There's consistent communication. There's the right communication. So, yes, that's where it drove me, because I've always done two things. Every night when I go to bed, I go, did I do everything I could for mankind today? Did I do things right for maybe the company I work for or what I try to do? And also, did I not screw anyone over? And I've never done that in my career. So I guess my point of it is I've always treated people like they want to be treated, and I've always did it with kindness, and I've always just said, I'm going to do right by people. So I guess that drove me with a relationship component. And today, it's not sales. Most of my people that I work with in business are my friends. They're truly my friends. And if you work towards that end goal where your customers, like you and I, Sean, are working together and partnering in a sense of the word, if you become friends, you win. You win more than just the professional aspect of it. Yep.
No, you know what? I 100% believe that. And I also believe in relationship marketing. I mean, there's a lot of marketing out there. There's multi-level marketing, network marketing, there's relationship marketing, content marketing. Like, everything is marketing. But some people say that this one way works or this one way doesn't work or this one. But in everything I know, and I've been in business since 2004, come from an entrepreneur family. I bought things. Like, everybody's bought things, right? The one thing that I know is that if I find a waiter that I like, I go to that restaurant and I ask for that waiter because I know the service is going to be the best. If I find a store that I like because of whatever the atmosphere, I will go there. If I find, and it's a recurring theme, right? So I looked this up, and it said 20 to 70% of your customers and clients will leave in the first 100 days if they don't feel like they got a custom experience or a valuable experience. They will leave, and they'll go find somebody else. So
I agree. Remember one thing, I call it chipism, and I mean that chipism is they call me Chip. And so when I say a chipism, when I go around the country and speak, it's something I want you to remember. I want you to take home. I want you to have a behavior change. Well, you just brought to my mind a chipism for what you just said. You don't have to figure the customer. I mean, they don't have to figure you out. You have to figure the customer out. Again, customers don't have to figure you out. You have to figure the customer out. And I think that's really, really important. When you're dealing with people, when you're dealing with people, you don't have to figure that waiter out. That waiter has to figure you out. Has to figure out what drives you, what kind of service you need. So And I really think that's important about people.
Yeah. The one thing that my uncle always told me, he's been in business a long time. He says, anytime you create something, anytime that you're building a business, anytime that you're coming out with new product or you're rebranding or like whatever, it's not about you. You're not doing it for you. You need to think about it from the customer's journey perspective. You need to think about what would that customer think? What would you think if you walked in? Again, you have to be kind of impartial. What would I think? But if your friend was creating that, what would you think? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you think about the customer journey? Is there a process broken? That's why they beta test everything. Like, hey, give me a third-party advantage. Give me a perspective. And he always told me, he's like, you create things according to what the customer needs and the customer wants, not what you need and what you want. But you also find a problem and fix it. But that's always kind of stuck with me. I had him on the show.
If you solve a person's problem, you have them in your pocket.
And that's what he said.
If you solve a person's problem, you have them in your pocket. That means that you will have that loyalty and that trust. But if you're like my daughter who wears a lot of holy jeans, you may lose some of those people. I laugh at her. I said, why are you wearing those holy jeans? You can't keep people in the pocket then. But my point, I'm just kidding, but the point of it is if you solve a person's problem, you'll always have them in your pocket, and that really means is you'll always have that trust and loyalty, and that's everything about that. That's everything, Sean, if you really think about it.
Yep. That absolutely. So what brought you into sales? What made you write the book?
Well, I didn't make it through dental school. I don't think I was a dental school dropout. I just didn't have. I played football, basketball, baseball growing up, and I had good large hand-eye coordination, but I didn't have the small motor skills to continue to go to dental school. But I had a mentor. That brings up another subject we could talk about all day about mentoring, because I wouldn't be here today without a mentor. I wouldn't have got my job. I wouldn't have, got my MBA. I wouldn't have gone to dental school. Nothing without mentors. And so basically, I was always known to be a very good communicator. People would want to come to my chair in dental school. Mothers loved bringing their kids to me, except I probably wasn't that great with my hands. But I could really, by the time you got out of my chair, we were best friends. And so that's how that all got started. And my mentor said, wow, you'd really be good in sales. I said, what the hell is sales? There was no sales classes back when I was going to school. I'm older than dirt. And, there wasn't anything like that back then. So that's what happened. I went into it. I said, sales. Right. And so that's how it all got started with me. And then obviously I've gone through 15, 20, 25, 30 years of communicating with people and being out there and talking to people. And I just felt like I had a lot of things to share and to get down on a piece of paper. And I've always been the one of the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple. Sorry, shithead, they say. Yeah. Somebody came up to me the other day and told me here, and this is the greatest thing. I can't remember his name. He said, Chip, you ought to say, keep it simple and sweet. Keep it simple and sweet. That. I love it. Yeah. So is this, but I'm a very much, I write simple. I'm not a writer, by the way. Everything was recorded. Most of my things I would tell you are life lessons. That's what I mean by I say it's bigger than sales in one of my books, or why, everyone's in sales, or however you want to call it, because all they are is life lessons. It's things I teach my children. It's things that I do every day. It's part of who you are. And so if you continue to do these things, these little things are important, like less is more. What does that mean to you? When I say, Sean, less is more, that's kind of one of my chip is what's your first reaction when I say less is more?
When I think of less is more, I think of less talking. You need to listen a lot more. You need to sometimes dial it down, right? Don't be so animated. Like just deliver. Like, don't fluff it. Just deliver whatever you need to deliver. Because I say the same thing to speakers. I'm like, use less is more. Less text on a slide, not bullet pointed with like 50 million different points that you're trying to make on one slide. Like less, and use a picture, boom, and it enhances it. Don't talk so much. Listen, like less talking, less, flagrance, less, animation, or just deliver what it is that you need to deliver. That's it. That's what I think.
You basically hit the nail on the head with it all you said. But basically, what I meant, what I mean when I say less is more, and probably a greatest example would be is if you're coming in to interview in front of me, and I want you to know about the company, obviously, and I want you to know about the widget, right? That I want you to sell, right? Okay, so when you walk into an interview, my goal is to get someone to learn, say less is more. I'd much rather you know less about my company or less about the widget, but what you do know, you know it really, really well. Because what happens is people want to come in and talk all this grandiose stuff, and they don't know anything. So my point is, if you're going to know something, know it really, really well. You don't have to know a lot about anything. But what you do know it really well and be factual and not try to BS people. So that's what I mean by less is more. I'd much rather you come in and tell me, 4 or 5 sentences about my company and it'd be right on. Instead of trying to tell me, oh, you got the greatest company in the whole world, da-da-da-da. I'm going, what are you trying to tell me? So that's what I mean by less is more. That's just one of the things that I try to teach. Yeah. So this is an example of those kind of things like that. So
that's a great example to live by. Absolutely. With that said, how are you currently elevating your sphere of influence? How are you elevating the lives around you by keeping your why in the forefront and going back to those transformational moments that have changed you into who you are? How are you elevating the world around you?
How am I elevating the world around me? I guess surrounding myself, being very blessed and fortunate. I'll give an example. Having you come to my life, which is out of the blue. It was through, I mean, seriously, bringing the Sean Douglases around me, Melanie Ake, who does Everyday Leaders of 50 and 50, bringing all these people have come into my life through these experiences, and still I continue to speak a lot at the colleges, and if I can just get out, my whole thing is if I can impact one person, I win. I still have a day job, so I'm very much into what I need, what I'm doing right now. And actually, Sean, I'm doing something that's probably close to your heart in a way, because I'm actually working on the government side of our company. What does that mean? I'm spending a lot more time in the VA hospitals. So I have to help the veterans, and I spend a lot of time around the veterans, and it's really humbled me. I really believe in this concept of humility. I believe that there's not enough leaders in this country, who should lead by humility, and we could talk about what that really means. But so that's probably what's really elevated my game, I guess, in a sense of just being able to continually, hopefully through these venues like you and the podcast. I've done a number of podcasts and interviews. I was just on a Christian radio station just a couple of days ago, and it just blew me away. And being able to share my messages and what I believe, and how to do things in a simple way. But I really believe in treating people like they want to be treated, and I really believe in treating with kindness. And it's not what you say; it's how you say things to people. So I'm really on this messaging. I'm really pushing out the humble card, the humility driven. Everything you do in your life, it should be driven by humility, by how you treat other people. So that's what's elevated my excitement. And if I can touch people, but no, I have a day gig, so it's not like I'm able to, to do this every day. And I really have something I've got to take care of. I got 3 kids still left, and I've got to help, get through school and stuff like that. So I don't know if I really answered it directly to you, but that's how I've, at least in small nuggets, hopefully have elevated and helped one person.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, I totally get it. I totally get it. I'm the same way. Like, a lot of people say that I want to help 1 million people. I don't know what it is with this million. Like, they want to be a millionaire. They want to help 1 million people. They want to sell 1 million things. Like, I don't know when the million became the standard, but I've noticed that some people that's what they're striving for. Once they hit 1 million, there's supposed to be some kind of happiness and some kind of, like, you know, rainbows and unicorns start to appear. I don't know. I like to help every single person that I meet every single day of my life. And whatever that adds up to is whatever. It adds up to whatever. But I set a goal every day to help somebody. Even if I help one person and they said, oh my gosh, I needed that. Because you never truly know what somebody needs. You never truly know that something you say or do is going to change their entire life. You never know. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know what you're going to say, what you post on social media. It just changes people's lives. So I don't do the whole, I want to be 1 million, I want to have 1 million downloads on my show, and
right.
I want to, you know, whatever. I'm happy for one download. I'm happy for any download, any subscription, any, you know, I just want people to listen to this show and be transformed. Like, man, if he can do it, I can do it. You know, or if they say, yeah, I love how that guy's opinion about sales, and I love what Chip is talking about. I love his journey. I'm going to connect with that guy. And all of a sudden, you not knowing, they're now connected with you, listening to you, watching you on social media, whatever, and you're saying these things and dropping these little nuggets, and it's changing their life one day at a time. And that means the comfort.
Go ahead. But you know
that
what,
brings
Sean,
me comfort.
That brings you comfort, but I want people to realize too that are listening to this is that to go through what you've gone through and what I've gone through, and let many people go through, there are bumps in the road. I mean, I have fallen off tall ladders. I have lost my, as I call it, personal branding. I've lost my brand in a few seconds, and it takes years to build up your brand. And so, I mean, I've had to go through a lot of hills and valleys. I just want people to understand that, maybe listening, going, wow, it sounds great, sounds rosy. Believe me, I've hit the ground plenty. And that's why I talk a lot about branding and what is branding and how do you develop it, and how do you, when you fall down, how do you get back up? Because I've been through a lot of that too, to where, I believe perception is reality. And then, unfortunately, in the corporate world, what someone else thinks actually does matter. I didn't realize that, Sean. I was 7 years into my, job working and didn't realize that it mattered what your boss thought. It matters what other people think about you. I always thought I was a good guy. I was sincere. I was genuine. I did the right thing. I always coach about, use the right heart and the right intent, and you'll be okay. But I have gone through some rough spots too. So I just want to make sure that the listeners understand that, hey, we're there. I relate. I understand. If you're listening, you're going, wow, I've had some tough times. Well, I have too. So.
Perfect. I love it. So where do we go from here? What's next for Chip in 2019? Where do we go?
It sounds like you're like my family. I had about 10 minutes ago, I don't know if you knew it, but I jumped up out of my chair because my daughter's Labrador ran in through the door and my Great Dane came in. So there you go. So I understand there's things going on. What's going on with Chip in 2019 and beyond is this, I guess, is to continue, to share my messages, to do a lot more mentoring. I like coaching and mentoring people from young, old, it doesn't matter who. I like being able to, help. And there's no goal of mine going, oh, well, I've got to reach this or reach that. Someone's asked me if I'm going to write another book. I said, well, when you have my ugly mug put on 2 books, I don't think you want me to write a third one, so I don't know if I'm going to be writing anytime soon in that sense. I just really want people, hopefully, to really grasp some of these life lessons, and maybe a few of them can help them. There's nothing big. I want to spend more time with my family. I've got 3 kids right now that are in professional schools and heading that way, and those kind of things like that mean more to me. It's all about your work-life balance. I mean, to me, in my opinion, it's all about your family. That comes first. Those kind of things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to make sure my balance is correct at home, because to be honest with you, Sean, when it's all said and done, no one's going to care what you and I have done, okay? What they're going to care about, were you a good father or a good husband? Were you good to your friends? Were you honest with people? Did you take care of people around you? That's what people are going to remember about you. They're not going to remember, that I worked for a medical company or what I did. And, like I told someone the other day, the greatest legacy I can do right now currently in my life is probably these short reads, because at least it's a legacy I can leave for my children. Plus they can get off my ass. No, I'm just teasing that because they never believed that Dad would ever do it. Would ever sit down
That's
and
funny.
do it. And so, yeah, and I've got 3 really smart kids, and they probably never thought I'd ever put something in writing. I never told my wife anything until the very, very end. So I kept people kind because I didn't want to let anyone down.
Right,
and if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. So Sean, I'll turn it around on you. What are you looking for in 2019 and beyond? Because I see on there you've done some amazing things. You've helped many people. What's in the long term for you?
So in 2019, I'm going to start a second podcast, and I'm creating and launching another company.
Oh my God!
And this other company I'm telling you, this other company is going to revolutionize the way people act. I'm telling you. I can see where this is going to go, because you know how like words on the walls, everybody wants to stencil like live, laugh, love on your wall, and the word art and like all that stuff, right?
Right.
So it's been big. They put it on jars. They put it on their books. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a movement called Live Your Brand. And it's living your brand, living yourself, living your truth, living your authenticity, and living your transparency. That's what I'm going to create. And how I'm going to do it is the company that I'm creating is called LYB Clothing Inc., and we're going to create an affirmation T-shirt clothing line, yoga pants, hats, T-shirts, whatever. So we're going to make an affirmation clothing line, and instead of promoting Reebok or Nike or Eddie Bauer, you promote you. You promote your life. You promote yourself. And so you get out of the comfort zone. You live in full transparency and vulnerability. And I got a friend of mine who's doing the same thing, but he's gonna do it with kids. And he wants the kids to wear the shirts and the anti-bullying. And so we're going to attack anti-bullying from both sides: adult bullying and living in as an introvert. And then we're going to attack childhood bullying.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
That's what I'm doing. And
hoping
that I still get to retire from the military in 2 years. I've got 2 years left in military service, and I'm hoping to retire in November 2021. I'm going to be done.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I've learned more in the last year being around the veterans, and being inside VA hospitals. And like I said, if I thought I was humbled, I wasn't as humbled as I need to be or should be or could be, especially when you work with those people. And my heart goes out. It just is we got to do a better job in this country and to do that. So I mean, 100%. From that standpoint. So, but no,
absolutely.
I mean, it's exciting times. I really appreciate you having me on. I don't know if I share too much pearls of wisdom or anything like that, but you sound like my uncle.
You literally. I was having an uncle moment. Like I was literally. So I felt like I was just sitting across the table, right? Because I'm staring at the studio soundboard, and I'm seeing the numbers and everything and tracking it all, and I just felt like we were sitting across the table from each other, and I'm having a conversation with my uncle. He's always talking about legacy. He's always talking about this, and he's like, man, nothing else matters, man. This is what matters. because he lives a simple life, man. He's got his acreage. He's got his chickens that run around. He's got his goats. He's got his turkeys. He's got his kids who are kind of all grown. Like all my cousins are like grown. The one just graduated high school out of the 4 kids, just graduated high school. I'm like, golly, I feel old. I mean, I figure they're still in elementary school and middle school, but it's like when you're not there and you're away, life goes on. So he just graduated high school. He's 18, and he's like, man, my kids are grown. I got my acreage. I'm a baseball coach. I love life, man. And he's just like the most laid-back dude. And he's just like, my legacy, how my kids will remember me, means more to me than what anybody else remembers about me or thinks about me. That's the deal.
Well, then I guess it could be your uncle for this evening, because he is he's right on, and that's what I mean. When it's funny, because if you read one of these books, you'd probably laugh, because you'd go, well, there's nothing revolutionary in here. It's just the way hopefully I've delivered the message, and I've kept it simple, and I've shared things that, hey, you know what, we all go through in life, and things that if you just take some interest in some of this stuff, you can really make some changes in people, because it's all about people. Right. It's all about how you deal with people. It's, you can't talk, because what we're missing right now, Sean, in the country, especially young adults, there's 2 things that are happening right now. They're not good communicators, and they're terrible writing skills. And I talk about that. Yeah. It's just as things we got to get back to, because no matter what happens, I want to be face to face with you. And I want to see your eyes, and I want you to see how your handshake is. I talk about a good handshake. I talk about eye contact with people. I talk about how you can put your hand over the person's shoulder, just around their shoulder, to kind of comfort them when you say hello. It's just things that we've got to get back to doing with people, and get away from the emails and the text messaging and the Twitter and all that good stuff. And I don't know. I still think we got to bring it back to where it's all about you and I talking to each other, and to have, you made a good point. I always believe in having a conversation with a person like it's your best friend, and you're just drinking a cup of coffee and not having a presentation. I hate presentations. Even when I'm up with slides behind me, I may have a few slides with not, as you said earlier, with not a lot of text on those slides, but I want to engage the people with me. I don't give presentations at all. I never have. I've only given a conversation or had a conversation, even if I'm up on stage. I watched one of your things one day. Can't remember where you were. I think I actually watched your podcast, the thing where you just were at recently. And I noticed how you do the same. Yeah, I noticed how you do the same thing. And it's funny, though. The one thing where you and I are different, and was funny, I hate to hold a microphone. I've got to have my hands out. I've got to be able to use my hands. And so I like the lapel or whatever the thing you put on your freaking chest. But, I'll tell you like it is. I'm not I just cannot hold a microphone. It makes me uncomfortable. And then again, I hate, honestly, being on stage. You'll never see me in front of a podium. If I have to be, I got to move. I got to get around. I got to get into people's
I'm the same
faces.
way.
So I watched you, so I was tickled. You have a lot more experience with this than I do, and you do this more for a living. And or whatever, and you have a very good knack about yourself. So it's a compliment. I watch people, and I won't say much. It's like you won't hear from me a lot on Facebook and different venues unless I have something to say. Yeah, I'm not going to just say something just to say it, and that's how it's kind of like right now with you. I'm not gonna, I'll say what I feel, but I'm not, those kind of things like that. So that's it.
So let's do a plug. Let's do a plug. I want to shamelessly plug your books, products, websites, programs, services. This is it. This is Chip, man. So Chip,
I know
this
isn't a comfortable Chip, okay? This isn't a comfortable Chip because, but I will. This isn't me. Okay, yeah.
Time for you to sell.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Think about yourself, and I'm more worried about other people.
Tell us, tell us where to find you. Tell us what you got available. Plug it.
All right. Well, you said it best at the very beginning. You can go to my website, www.chiphelm.com. Yes, you're right. There are a lot of interesting podcasts. Actually, I'm giving free right now for anyone that wants to go into my website and click on online, and they can listen to my personal branding chapter because I did the audio of both books. I'm an audio guy. I don't read a lot, so I have to listen to it. So I even listened to my a few days ago to me talking. Isn't that silly? But listen to that chapter on personal branding, and even if I didn't know myself, I said, you know what? Damn, you weren't too bad. Plus, you were kind of logical. It made kind of sense. I don't know if you've ever read something, Sean, and go, okay, but when you listen to it, you really understand it sometimes. Well, that's what I had to listen to it and go, wow, even if I didn't know that guy, he was pretty good. I do a lot on personal branding, so that's on that website, and obviously both books I made them into short airplane reads. Obviously, I think one's called Everyday Sales Wisdom for Your Life and Career. I think the other one is Bigger Than Sales, How Humility and Relationships Build Career Success. And really that one is kind of the implementation one, how do you build relationships? How do you network? I go through step-by-step processes. I give you things to do at the end of each chapter. And then the first book is more of the core, the philosophy, brings out a lot of the chipisms. You know, I probably should have coined that, Sean. Maybe you could coin it for me. Maybe you could that's what I use a lot for I think I have 14, 15 chipisms at the back of an appendix that tells you what I think you should, put to heart.
Awesome.
Like this one thing is following up plus follow through equals success because that's probably the biggest weakness of people. They don't get back to people fast enough. They don't take care of people well enough. So I talk about following up plus following through. So those kind of things. My email, I love hearing from people, chiphelm16@gmail.com. You can always email me and you can always call me. I'm more than happy. I don't have a problem giving my cell phone number out to anyone. But I'm just saying that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I guess that's me.
Perfect.
I guess it's the little bit of the self promotion. I guess I'm not a fan of that, but obviously it is what it is, and if people want to, but yes, I have an ebook, the audio book. I had more fun. I'll tell everyone out there, if you want to understand how to write books, I'm more than willing to help you through it. The hardest part was to start the books. The other thing is I know a lot about audiobooks now. I did it myself, but I had a professional, but I actually, my voice, loved it. That's probably the most fun I've ever had. I'd love to do other people's audiobooks, just because I like that voice. I like doing that. So that kind of stuff like that. So
awesome, man. So thank you for that, and everybody listening right now, go grab those 2 resources because I'm telling you.
Oh, they are on Amazon.
There's not too many.
On Amazon, by the way.
Yeah,
so you can go to Amazon.
Not too many humble people. There's not too many humble people that are also salespeople. There's a lot of bragging, boasting. So as we close, I want to get I want to ask you this, and I think this is really funny. Here's what I do. Somebody messaged me, friend request, all that stuff on social media. Then they hit me with, hey, I got this product and it's going to do this for you. And I don't know who you work with or what you do, but this is going to be great. And you should buy this, whatever else. And I'm like, no, I don't need that. However, I do sell a course on how you can sell through Facebook Messenger. Would you like that? Would you like to buy that? Because you desperately need it. Do you ever get that? Do you ever get that, like that person who tries to sell you and you're like, dude, do you even know who you're talking to? Like, I'm a sales expert. Like, you know what I mean? It'd be so funny for some kid to try to sell you, like, dude, who are you talking to?
Well, it's funny. It happens more on LinkedIn lately with me. LinkedIn is where people have accessed me now to be able to try to, sell me a lot of things, just through the LinkedIn process. But I don't know. I just really try to figure people out, to see where they're coming from, the honesty, the genuineness. I try to intuitively figure it out if it's someone that really is meaningful, or if they're just, being who they are, or something that they're not. And it's not always easy to do, but I try to really kind of watch that, when I'm dealing with people. I understand that Messenger's private, and private message me if you're really want to talk to me about something, those kind of things like that. But yeah, I understand. I'm sure you get that, all the time.
All the time. All the time.
But I think one last message I like to leave with everyone that's on here that listens to you, and that I think it's just really important, again, to stay humble and kind to people. The whole thing was treat people like you want to be treated. It's not that anymore. It's treat people like they want to be treated. The golden rule says treat people like you want to be treated, like you want to be treated. Well, it's really, in my opinion, the golden rule is treat people like they want to be treated. And I just think that we don't do enough of that we don't put other people's needs in front of ours. And I always said it's like my wife. It's like a man and a woman. I love this analogy. If us idiots as men would ever give more to our wives out there, it's funny, women are different than men, and they would give you back tenfold. It's just the way it works with women and men. It's an interesting analogy. They did a study on it, but if a man would ever just get smarter, I'm not very smart, and do more for your significant other, your partner, your friend, whatever, it's amazing. But I'll just take, for example, my wife. I know I'd get more back. Well, it's the same way with people. The more you give to people, the more in return you will receive, and the more that you worry about whatever someone else thinks and not what you need, the more that good things come into your life. And I really believe we can lead. We can have strong leadership in this country and do it with humility, with kindness, with empathy and sympathy, and still make very difficult decisions in life and still do it the right way. So that's all. I just really believe in that. So
love it. Hey, Chip, I want to thank you so much for your time, your wisdom, and just bringing your energy today.
So, Sean, who is that? Who's that behind you?
That would be my 18-month-old who wants to join the show. Apparently, she just woke up from the nap.
Is this live right now to people around? Whoever, or how's this work? Tell me, so that can I listen to it later, or how's that work?
Yeah, man, this is live. It's a live radio show, and as soon as we hang up, you can listen to it back in about 15 minutes, and then it's uploaded to all the podcatchers.
Gotcha. So that's how. So it's always alive. That is so cool. I commend you to all the listeners. Continue to listen to Sean Douglas and his what he's doing. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you so much, Chip. I definitely look up to you, and I love what you're doing, man. I've learned a lot from you as well.
And likewise from you too, Sean.
All right. Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest elevating the world around him using humbleness, kindness, humility in his life. So if anything resonates with you, please go to chiphelm.com, chiphelm.com, and connect with him and get those two resources, Everyday Sales and what was the other one?
Bigger Than Sales.
Everyday Sales. Bigger Than Sales is what it was. Bigger Than Sales. That's what it was. All right. So, Life Transformation Radio listeners, again, subscribe to Life Transformation Radio. Connect with Chip. And as we close, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.